Today we're going to be sharing with you a week's worth of freezer meals that you can assemble, like if you've got an afternoon on the weekend that you want to put these together and then not have to worry about what's for dinner for the rest of the week, which is pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome, and we know because we live our lives like that. We live out of our freezer, and it is pretty awesome to not have to think about what I am making for supper tonight or worrying about
Stopping at the grocery
store, or even worse, stopping at the drive-thru, because you know that happens too. So we have some great recipes for you. Some are slow cooker friendly, some are oven friendly, some are skillet friendly. They are all freezer friendly, and they're family friendly.
Now, this first recipe we actually discovered in our last mega session. We made 70 freezer meals. I'm not suggesting you do that right away.
Don't start there anyway.
This is like a dip your toe in the water thing. But in that freezer meal session, we put together recipes that were all new to us. We had tried none of them before. Now we have tried some of them. And this first one that we're sharing with you today is one of those. It is such a winner.
It really is. It was surprising. It is Sloppy Joe's casserole, which does not sound exciting. It is certainly not fancy by any stretch of the imagination, but it is delicious. It has this, we both talked about it, it has this tang in it.
Yes.
That is just a little bit of in your mouth, and it's exciting, and your kids will like it, and it's a pasta, and it's a casserole. It's so easy.
Totally, like talk about family friendly. So yes, not gourmet, but completely family friendly. And this is like an all-in-one, because the day that you assemble it, you're like everything is being made right then. Mm-hmm. So on the day that you go to make it, you just throw it in the oven. But what I really suggest is that you actually make 2 of these on the day you assemble it. That way, if you want, you can have one that night and throw one in the freezer, or you can throw them both in your freezer so that you can end up with 2 weeks of meals.
Aha, that's what we do. That is like the secret ingredient to making freezer meals awesome. Double everything, triple everything if you're up for it.
Quadruple everything sometimes.
We quadruple things, but then we divide them, right? So we each go home with 2, unless it's something we really, really love.
We've been known to each go home with 3 or 4 of a meal that is like a tried and true favorite.
Totally. It's usually corn chowder.
Or ground beef stroganoff.
We've done that with ground beef stroganoff.
Or some of the chicken ones.
I know.
They're just so good.
Our meals are good. Our meals are good.
For this Sloppy Joe's casserole, what you're going to do is you're going to cook your pasta, but there is a caveat here. You want to undercook the pasta according to the package directions. You can do this with a rotini or a penne or a similar sized noodle. You undercook it a little bit so that on the day that you go to reheat this, it doesn't end up mushy. That is the key to having good texture even with pasta freezer meals. So once you have undercooked your pasta and rinsed it so that it's a little bit cooled, then you're going to add that into a large resealable freezer bag. You're also going to put some shredded cheese in a quart size, a smaller freezer bag, and set that aside for now. Into that bag with your pasta, you're going to add some browned and cooled ground beef, some diced onion, minced garlic. You can just use it right out of a jar just to save some time. Some diced green pepper, tomato sauce, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, chili powder, salt, and pepper. Then you're going to squish those things together in your bag. Maybe you want to squish them a little bit gently because you don't want to break up that pasta, but you really can just squish this together in the bag or seal it and give the bag a shake. Then you're going to open the bag back up. You're going to get out as much air as you can so that you don't end up with freezer burn. You're going to seal that, and you're going to staple the bag that has the cheese in it to the large bag above the seal, and then you're gonna get those into your freezer. Now, on the day you go to make this one, you thaw it, you just dump the contents of that large bag into a greased casserole dish, you top it with that shredded cheese, and you bake this one at 375 for just 20 to 25 minutes. In under half an hour, you have a delicious meal the whole family can enjoy.
This chicken and veggie stir fry, you definitely want to do 2 of these because you're going to be chopping vegetables, and I say this all the time. If you're going to chop 1 onion, you might as well chop 2 onions. It doesn't take a whole lot more time. And the great thing about doing prep for a whole bunch of meals at once is you really only have to wash your cutting board 1 time. But if you are making these meals fresh every night, you're washing your cutting board every night. And who wants to do that? So this chicken and veggie stir fry, we started with our chicken in 1 bag, and we're going to add veggies to another, and then we're going to make a sauce. So stick with me. We start out with our chicken breasts in the first bag, and they have been cubed up and they are raw. And then in the other bag, you're going to add in some sugar snap peas, some carrots that are peeled and sliced. And for a stir fry, you want to slice them on an angle because you want to increase that surface area so they cook quickly. We're going to add in red pepper that is sliced and some broccoli florets. We like to use fresh, or you can use frozen. We're going to take a bowl and we're going to mix together some chicken broth, some soy sauce, some brown sugar, some sesame oil, some sesame seeds, some fresh ginger. We just like to use squeezy tube ginger. You can get it in your produce section. And we're going to add in some red pepper flakes as well. We're going to mix that around in the bowl, and then we're going to just take a 1/4 cup of that and put it in with the chicken so the chicken gets to marinate. And then we're going to pour the rest of that into a medium-sized bag. And then we're going to get the excess air out of all of these. We're going to zip them up and staple them together. Make sure you staple above the seal so you're not getting the leaks. Then we're going to freeze it. When we go to cook this, we're going to allow it to thaw, and then we're going to take our skillet or our wok and get it on some good high heat. We're going to stir in the chicken and let it fry up, and then we're going to add in the veggies and the sauce. Now in the sauce, if we want this to thicken a bit, you can do a cornstarch slurry. So you're going to take a little bit of cold water, you're going to add in a tablespoon of cornstarch and mix it really well, and then you can add that and stir it into the sauce with your veggies and your chicken, and it will thicken up. And then you want to give it a few more minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that your vegetables are tender crisp and your chicken is no longer pink in the middle. And then you want to serve this over rice or Shanghai noodles. And just like that, you can have a very healthy family stir fry on the table.
Now, a while back, those of you who are in our Facebook group, you can find the link for that in the description down below, might remember that we did a Freezer Meals 101 bingo. It was somewhat just for fun, but it was also to celebrate that we had hit 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And we just wanted to share the love a little bit and celebrate with you. So we had prizes for the bingo. There were some free PDFs that we were giving out. And one of the prizes was that we would do a shout out in a video. Now, I have to say that that one was probably the most motivating to people, which was pretty eye-opening to me.
Yeah, it kind of was. I like it. I love it.
We had a lot of fun with the bingo and following along as you completed the squares and like shared your favorite recipes of ours and all of that. So the very first person that completed her whole bingo card, like the whole thing, is Rebecca S. We super appreciate you. We appreciate your enthusiasm. We love having you in the club. Like Rebecca is always there when we do our live cooking classes, and she interacts in the chat. She interacts in the Facebook group, and we just so appreciate her. So our first congratulations goes out to Rebecca. Rebecca was awesome. She just like rocked this challenge and yeah, took on every single thing and just knocked it out of the park. So a big shout out to Rebecca. And we also have shout outs for some of our like other, like I don't want to say favorites because we have a lot of favorites actually.
We have a lot of favorites.
We have some favorites that didn't play along with the bingo. And we forgive you. But some of our, like, again, I don't want to say favorites, but some of our beloved Freezer Meal members.
And some real OGs, some ones that have been around for a very long time in the group.
played along with us in this bingo. So we want to give a shout out to Cheryl, to Robin, and they are also very participatory in the Facebook group.
Participatory, absolutely.
And like such valued, I mean, you're all valued members, but like some of you we don't know by name because you watch silently.
I always say, if I'm in a group like that, I'm like, I've been a long time lurker, first time poster.
Right.
You know, so that's cool too.
We definitely have some longtime lurkers.
If you didn't ever look at it, we have like 86,000 people in our Facebook group.
It's true.
So the fact that we know some of your names is like pretty awesome.
It's such a
And it just means you're
beautiful
participating and we love it.
community. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I saw something the other day where someone who hadn't shared his meals for a year shared again. And like the back and forth that went on in the comments of that, and even asking about like how he's doing in his life and, you know, all of this, it just warms my heart so much because like it's just the best group ever.
It really is the best group, and it's very international because he's in Australia.
Yes, there's people from all over the world in that group, which, and honestly, I know that some online communities are not the kindest, but that group really is.
It really, really is.
So another person that we need to give a shout out to is Ruth, and she rocked it. Now, we're giving her like a bit of a pass because she doesn't have some of the social media things, but we did not make her sign up for Instagram.
No.
Not everyone
get
has
her
to
ex.
be on Instagram and TikTok, you know.
She got a bit of a pass, but also, she is also somebody else who participates in the group a lot, and it's great to have her.
And then the next person that we are giving a shout out to is Kate, who is another like one that we appreciate so much in the group. We just love it. Anyone who's in the group who is like sharing and interacting and participating and like has enthusiasm for freezer meals, or even just comments of like, we didn't so much love this one, but we did love this one. I mean, it's just, that feeds us.
It kind of does. Well, and we do want feedback,
Yes.
right? And there's a lot of knowledge in this group as well. We aren't the only ones that know if you can freeze potatoes or not. Like, let me tell you, you ask a question and there are some veterans in there that know the answer because they have been doing this for years. They have great ideas. They love sharing their ideas. Hey, did you know I do this when I freeze it? And everybody's like, that's so great. Why didn't I think of that?
Sense.
We learn things in our group because of the wonderful people that are in it.
Last week, there was a woman in the group that shared that her 4-year-old son finds us for her on YouTube and is like, Mom, your cooking ladies are on. And it just made my week. Like, oh my goodness. So Kate, who I just said is like so awesome in the group, is actually the reason that we're including this next recipe in this video, because in the group, she posted a picture of her dinner and it was our gingery salsa chicken. And she said that she doesn't hear us talk about it a lot, and it's true.
It's true. We do overlook it.
It's one of those like flies under the radar recipes.
Because it's not flashy like the Marry Me chicken or the what's the soup that we like, the Moroccan chickpea stew. Like, it's flashy because it's orange and bright
or
and stuff.
Chicken tagine.
Right, because it sounds exotic.
This is like, you're the girl next door, the guy next door.
But it's got ginger in it, so it's a little bit of like an exotic guy next door, but it's getting weird now.
It is an exciting tasting one, but she's right.
We don't bring it up a lot.
We don't bring it up a lot. So because I saw her picture in the group and her say like, hey, I don't hear about this one a lot, I was like, we are including it in today's video.
We are including it. Thank you, Kate, for bringing it to our attention. And you definitely want to check this one out.
So for this gingery salsa chicken, you're just gonna have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs in your bag. You're gonna add some salsa, whatever one is your favorite, some honey, orange juice, soy sauce, Dijon mustard, some ginger. Again, we just really like that squeezy tube ginger, and a little bit of olive oil. You're just gonna squish all those ingredients together in the bag. You're gonna get your air out, you're gonna seal it, you're gonna freeze it. So for this one, on the day of cooking, you're gonna thaw it, and then you're actually going to take your chicken out of the sauce, and you're gonna bake it in the oven for 40 to 50 minutes at 400 degrees, just until you reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees. In the meantime, you're gonna take the sauce that's left in the bag, your marinade, and you're gonna pour it into a stovetop pot, and then you're gonna mix together a little bit of cornstarch and cold water in a small bowl. Just like Christy was telling you about the cornstarch slurry for the stir fry, you're gonna do the same thing here. You're gonna add that into your sauce, and you're gonna heat that to boiling, and just stir that for a few minutes while it thickens, and serve it over the chicken. This one is beautiful served with rice, and then you can pour that extra sauce on your rice, and then you could have a side salad or side veggies. Or if you have some leftovers from the night before of your stir fry, you could serve that with this.
Yes, you could. I would actually even do my own separate little stir fry to go with this, because the ginger in it just kind of gives that Asian flair, and I think they would go really nice together.
I agree.
Nothing says family friendly like a one-pot meal, because it's less dishes, which is really, really nice. And this bolognese sauce is just beautiful. It can go on any kind of pasta that you like, and it is super simple to put together. You are going to love this. So into our freezer bag, we are going to add our lean ground beef that has been browned and cooled. We're going to add in minced onion, minced garlic, some pasta sauce, or if you are in the Freezer Meals 101 Club, you would want to use red sauce for this. We're going to add in some diced tomatoes and chicken broth. That is everything you're going to need into your bag. You want to set aside some penne pasta if you want, or you can buy it for the day you go to cook this, but get your bolognese into the freezer. When you go to cook this, you're going to thaw it, you're going to bring it to a boil on your stovetop, and then you're going to add in that penne pasta. You're going to let that pasta cook right in the bolognese, and it's one pot, one deal, and yum is the answer to that one. You can sprinkle some Parmesan on it when you go to serve it, or some cheddar cheese. I know Charlotte would probably put some red pepper flakes on it.
Definitely.
Definitely. And then it's just the one pot you have to clean up. I love it when one pot meals are actually only one pot.
Completely. And you can serve this with garlic bread if you want. We have a garlic bread for the freezer if you want to look up that recipe on freezermeals101.com, because then you can have all these garlic breads in your freezer that are just ready to heat in your oven any day that you have pasta, which just goes over super well at my house.
You can do half garlic breads too. If it's just like a few of you, one or two of you, and you don't need a whole loaf, you can break that down as small as you like and still get the wonderment of garlic bread without having like days of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. This Kahlua pork is a 3-ingredient recipe. Yes, it is just 3 ingredients. So what you're gonna do is you're going to put a pork shoulder or butt in a large freezer bag. You're gonna add some salt and liquid smoke. That is absolutely it. You're gonna get the air out of your bag, get it into your freezer once it's sealed. When you go to make this one, it can be made in your Instant Pot or in your slow cooker. When it's completely cooked, you're gonna shred that pork. Now you can serve this on buns, you can serve it on mashed potatoes, you can serve it with rice, you can you could just eat this out of the crock pot. Like, it's so
your family
good.
will, because it is that good. And it's so simple. Like, how
3
ingredients. I love it.
And you can make multiples, obviously, because if you find a sale on pork roast, then you get many. Just lay them all out in the bags in front of you with the bags open, and put the salt, put the salt, put the salt, put the liquid smoke, put the liquid smoke, put the liquid smoke. So easy. But one of the things I'm going to tell you about this recipe is that I actually think you should serve it with this next thing that you assembled on the same day that you assembled everything else, which is our pineapple fried rice. Now, yes, it can be its own meal. It does not have to be a side dish, but I just think if you served this as a side dish with your Kahlua pork,
your family will love you for the rest of your lives.
Out of this world. So for your pineapple fried rice, you're going to put some cooked, cooled rice into your freezer bag. You're gonna add in some minced garlic, minced onion, diced red pepper, frozen peas, some pineapple chunks that are drained just from a can, sliced green onion, Chinese 5-spice, low sodium soy sauce. If you want, you can add in some unsalted raw cashews, chili garlic sauce or sriracha sauce, and that's it. Squish that all together in your bag, get out your air, seal it, and freeze it. This one is super, super fast to cook up. You just cook it on your stovetop in a bit of oil, or you can, in a skillet or a wok. And once those onions and peppers are softened, because the rice is already cooked, this is done. So 15 minutes on your stovetop, or you can bake this in the oven covered for an hour at 350. Either way, this one is it's so bright and colorful and healthy, has all the things. And again, it can be a side dish and it can also be a main. Now, the pineapple fried rice and the Kahlua pork are great for individual servings too, because if you cook your Kahlua pork first and then shred it, you can freeze it in individual portions. You can even take that with your pineapple rice and make these cute little TV dinners. You can find in our Amazon store in the link below, we have these containers that are microwave safe, dishwasher safe, freezer safe. So you could have your pineapple fried rice on one side and your cooked Kahlua pork on the other side, and it would just be ready to reheat in your microwave. So you could take those for lunches or whatever. We've given you enough recipes that you could do 6 meals, and the reason we haven't given you 7 is that unless you have a family that's as big as mine, you will have enough from these meals to have a leftover night.
Yes.
And you can do a leftover buffet.
Yes, we totally did that we still do it now. And you lay it all out, you dish up, and how awesome is it that you get to have your one pot bolognese at the same day that you have your stir fry, and you can put them beside each other on the plate because it's leftover day and nobody cares. Or if you want to skip that and go for the sloppy joe's casserole, you can totally do that, and then you throw it in the microwave. Bam! I love leftover days at our house.
Totally. And yes, you can be okay, I'm gonna do the pasta thing and have both the pastas
you can have all the pasta.
Or you could be have things that totally seemingly don't go together. And it's just fun. And that way everybody also kind of gets a little bit of everything and can can go back to their favorites and can maybe skip the ones that weren't their favorites if you've got picky kids or picky family members or whatever, because I know it's not always just the kids that are picky.
We laugh. I always say I'm not picky at all, but the more I do this job, the pickier I realize I am.
It's true, because we'll be talking about a recipe and then we'll be well, we don't actually Christy doesn't eat coconut, and I don't eat beef, and I'm allergic to some things. So, as you dial it in, you realize a little bit.
I do have some opinions about these things.
Exactly. Exactly. I want to say another thank you to not only those of you that completed our bingo, which we're really, really happy with, and so happy that you celebrated in that way with us, but also just for all of you who watch and who interact in our Facebook group and interact in the comments on YouTube. It really is for you that we're doing this, and it's because of your feedback that we keep going. So yeah, it really does fuel us. And I know we don't say that very often, but keep Keep feeding our egos. Because we want to hear how good our food is.
We already know our food is good. But keep in touch with us. Ask us questions. We love to interact in our comments when we can. And come and join our Facebook group if you're not there. It really is the nicest place on Facebook.
I'm going to put a video right there to that mega session where we made the 70 meals, including that Sloppy Joe's casserole and a whole lot more. And we discovered some great new to us recipes, and we will continue to share our new discoveries with you as we go. Thanks for joining, and happy cooking.